Many people are familiar with Michael Phelps, who is widely considered to be one of the greatest athletes in history. Phelps has won more Olympic medals not only than any swimmer, but also more than any Olympian in any sport. Fewer people know the name Hisham El Gurouj, but he was a fantastic athlete in his own right. El Gurouj is a Moroccan runner who holds 2 Olympic gold medals and is one of the greatest middle distance runners of all time. For many years, he held the world record in the mile, 15,000 meter and 2,000 meter races. At the Olympic Games in Athens, Greece, in 2004, he won gold in the 15,000 meter and 5,000 meter races. These 2 athletes are widely different in many ways. For starters, one competed on land and the other in water. But most notably, they differ significantly in height. El Gurouj is 5 feet 9 inches tall. Phelps is 6 feet 4 inches tall. Despite this 7-inch difference in height, the 2 men are identical in one respect. Michael Phelps and Hisham El Gurouj wear the same length inseam on their pants. How is this possible? Phelps has relatively short legs for his height and a very long torso, the perfect build for swimming. El Gurouj has incredibly long legs and a short upper body, an ideal frame for distance running. Now, imagine if these world-class athletes were to switch sports. Given his remarkable athleticism, could Michael Phelps become an Olympic-caliber distance runner with enough training? It's unlikely. At peak fitness, Phelps weighed 194 pounds or nearly 88 kilograms, which is 40% heavier than El Gurouj, who competed at an ultra-light 138 or nearly 62.5 kilograms. Taller runners are heavier runners, and every extra pound is a curse when it comes to distance running. Against elite competition, Phelps would be doomed from the start. Similarly, El Gurouj might be one of the best runners in history, but it's doubtful he would ever qualify for the Olympics as a swimmer. Since 1976, the average height of Olympic gold medalist in the men's 15,000 run is 5 feet 10 inches. In comparison, the average height of Olympic gold medalist in the men's 100-meter freestyle swim is 6 feet 4 inches. Swimmers tend to be tall and have long backs and arms, which are ideal for pulling through the water. El Gurouj would be at a severe disadvantage before he ever touched the pool. The secret to maximizing your odds of success is to choose the right field of competition. This is just as true with habit change as it is with sports and business. Habits are easier to perform and more satisfying to stick with when they align with your natural inclinations and abilities. Like Michael Phelps in the pool or Hisham El Gurouj on the track, you want to play a game where the odds are in your favor. Embracing this strategy requires acceptance of the simple truth that people are born with different abilities. Some people don't like to discuss this fact. On the surface, your genes seem to be fixed and it's no fun to talk about things you cannot control. Plus, phrases like biological determinism makes it sound like certain individuals are destined for success and others doomed to failure. But this is a short-sighted view of the influence of genes on behavior. The strength of genetics is also their weakness. Genes cannot be easily changed, which means they provide a powerful advantage in favorable circumstances and a serious disadvantage in unfavorable circumstances. If you want to dunk a basketball, being 7 feet tall is very useful. If you want to perform a gymnastics routine, being 7 feet tall is a great hindrance. Our environment determines the suitability of our genes and the utility of our natural talents. When our environment changes, so do the qualities that determine success. This is true not just for physical characteristics, but for mental ones as well. I'm smart if you ask me about my job-related topics or things I'm good at, not so much when it comes to knitting, rocket propulsion, or guitar chords. Competence is highly dependent on context. The people at the top of any competitive field are not only well-trained, they're also well-suited to the task. And this is why, if you want to be truly great, selecting the right place to focus is crucial. In short, genes do not determine your destiny, they determine your areas of opportunity. As physician Gaber Mate notes, genes can predispose, but they cannot predetermine. The areas where you're genetically predisposed to success are the areas where habits are more likely to be satisfying. The key is to direct your effort towards areas that both excite you and match your natural skills to align your ambition with your ability. The obvious question is, how do I figure out where the odds are in my favor? How do I identify the opportunities and habits that are right for me? The first place we will look for an answer is by understanding your personality. How your personality influences your habits. Your genes are operating beneath the surface of every habit and beneath the surface of every behavior. Genes have been shown to influence everything from the number of hours you spend watching television to your likelihood to marry or divorce, to your tendency to get addicted to drugs, alcohol, or nicotine. There's a strong genetic component to how obedient or rebellious you are when facing authority, how vulnerable or resistant you are to stressful events, how proactive or reactive you tend to be, and even how captivated or bored you feel during sensory experiences like attending a concert. As Robert Plomin, a behavioral geneticist at King's College in London says, it is now at the point where we have stopped testing to see if traits have a genetic component, because we literally can't find a single one that isn't influenced by our genes. Bundled together, your unique cluster of genetic traits predispose you to a particular personality. Your personality is a set of characteristics that is consistent from situation to situation. The most proven scientific analysis of personality traits is known as the Big Five, which breaks them down in 5 spectrums of behavior. 1. Openness to experience. From curious and inventive on one end to cautious and consistent on the other. 2. Conscientiousness. Organized and efficient to easygoing and spontaneous. 3. Extroversion. Outgoing and energetic to solitary and reserved. You likely know them as extroverts versus introverts. 4. Agreeableness. Friendly and compassionate to challenging and detached. 5. Neuroticism. Anxious and sensitive to confident, calm, and stable. All 5 characteristics have biological underpinnings. Extroversion, for instance, can be tracked from birth. If scientists play a loud noise in the nursing ward, some babies turn toward it while the others turn away. When the researchers tracked these children through life, they found that the babies who turned towards the noise were more likely to grow up to be extroverts. Those who turned away were more likely to become introverts. People who are high in agreeableness are kind, considerate, and warm. They also tend to have higher natural oxytocin levels, a hormone that plays an important role in social bonding, increased feelings of trust, loyalty, and can act as natural antidepressant. You can easily imagine how someone with more oxytocin might be inclined to build habits, like writing thank you notes or organizing social events. As a third example, consider neuroticism, which is a personality trait that all people possess to various degrees. People who are high in neuroticism tend to be anxious and worry more than others. This trait has been linked to hypersensitivity of the amygdala, the portion of the brain responsible for noticing threats. In other words, people who are more sensitive to negative cues in their environment are more likely to score high in neuroticism. Our habits are not solely determined by our personalities, but there is no doubt that our genes nudge us in a certain direction. Our deeply rooted preferences make certain behavior easier for some people than for others. You don't have to apologize for these differences or feel guilty about them, but you do have to work with them. A person who scores lower in conscientiousness, for example, will be less likely to be orderly by nature and may need to rely more heavily on environmental design to stick with good habits. Watch the video in the description about how to design an environment to your needs. The takeaway is that you should build habits that work for your personality. People can get ripped working out like a bodybuilder, but if you prefer rock climbing or cycling or rowing, then shape your exercise habit around your interest. If your friend follows a low-carb diet but you find that low-fat works for you, then more power to you. If you want to read more, don't be embarrassed if you prefer steamy romance novels over non-fiction. Read whatever fascinates you. You don't have to build the habits that everyone tells you to build. Choose the habit that best suits you, not the one that is most popular. There is a version of every habit that can bring you joy and satisfaction. Find it. Habits need to be enjoyable if they are going to stick. Tailoring your habits to your personality is a good start, but this is not the end of the story. So let's turn our attention to finding and designing situations where you are at a natural advantage. I hope you found this video helpful. I will be making further self-improvement videos on this channel, so subscribe to not miss out. Please like, share, and comment if you liked my content. Thank you for watching.